that night, the question echoed across the sands of Arabia. How could a nation drowning in blessings fall in a single breath? Imagine a land where hunger was only a rumor, a city where poverty was unknown. Gold lay scattered like sand. Water flowed endlessly, gently, like mercy itself. And then, imagine this, a single tiny mouse, not an army, not an earthquake, not lightning from the sky, just a command from Allah. And in one night, the mighty empire of Saba collapsed. You are watching Blink Law. Before we go any further, like this video and tell me which country are you watching from, so this message of Islam can travel to every corner of the world. Now, take a deep breath. If you are ready, let's begin. This is not legend. This is not folklore. This is an event Allah Himself described in the Quran. This is the story of the people of Saba, their rise from paradise, their fall into ruin. Listen carefully, because this story is not about them alone. The people of Saba lived in the southern lands of Arabia, in what we now call Yemen, but they were not an ordinary tribe. They were the most prosperous nation on earth. Their soil was rich, their air was mild, their rain fell in perfect measure. But their true power, their greatest secret, was the colossal Ma'arib Dam. A structure so vast, so advanced, it held back floods and released mercy. Watering gardens stretching endlessly to the right and to the left. Fruits were so abundant that travelers passed through without fear of hunger. And the Quran paints this image clearly. 2 gardens on the right and on the left, and a command from Allah: eat from the provision of your Lord and be grateful to Him. This was not just wealth, it was divine mercy. The streets were clean, the system orderly, the people lived in peace. The Quran described their land as a good land and a forgiving Lord. It was paradise on earth, and among them ruled a queen, a woman of wisdom, power, and vision, Queen Bilqis. Her throne was magnificent, her rule unmatched, her kingdom spoken of far and wide, so far that her name reached a prophet of God, Prophet Solomon, a man given power unlike any other. The wind moved by his command, the birds spoke his language, the jinn served beneath his authority. He sent a letter, simple, direct. It began in the name of God, and it called her to bow in submission to the Lord of all worlds. Bilqis paused. She consulted her advisors, and she sent gifts, gold, silver, jewels, but Solomon rejected them all. What God has given me is far better than what you possess. At that moment, she understood. This was no king. This was a prophet. She traveled to meet him, and when she entered his palace, she mistook glass for water. And in that instant, truth became clear. She declared, "My Lord, I have wronged myself. I submit with Solomon to God." And with her, the people of Saba believed. This was their peak, worldly success, spiritual guidance. But time never stands still. Generations passed, kings changed, and gratitude slowly faded. We built this, we earned this, this dam is our genius. God was forgotten, pride took his place. Warnings came, prophets spoke. These gardens are not your brilliance, they are mercy. Abandon gratitude and mercy becomes burden. They laughed. Look at our dam, strong as a mountain. Can your God bring it down? The warning returned. When God commands, He does not need a grand reason. Still, arrogance remained. If punishment were coming, it would be here already. Our kingdom is secure. Our dam is indestructible. And with those words, their fate was sealed. Then, the Quran reveals something terrifying. They turned away. So we sent against them the flood of the dam, not an army, not fire from the sky. Tiny mice began to gnaw, burrowing into the foundations. They saw it and they ignored it. This dam is our strength. These creatures are nothing. Then the night arrived. The city slept. Silence ruled, and the dam took its final breath, a sound, then another, and suddenly it broke. Water, once mercy, turned into fury. People screamed. The dam was supposed to be strong, run, but there was nowhere to run. The flood surged, homes vanished, gardens drowned. The warning echoed in their minds. This is what you denied. Cries filled the night. "Oh God, save us, we were wrong." But the waves answered instead, one final surge, and silence forever. Paradise became wasteland, gardens turned bitter, life erased. And God explains why. This was their punishment, because they were ungrateful. They were not destroyed by wealth, they were destroyed by pride. And this story is not history alone. If a blessing takes you away from God, it is no longer a blessing. It has become punishment. If a tiny mouse, by God's command, can erase an empire, then tell me, where do we stand?